We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast.
All right, here it is. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast. It's season 2, episode 34, brought to you, of course, by Buffalo Wild Wings. And here with me to have the greatest of all times is Justin Feldkamp. And you know it's a softball episode. We got Becca Yenrick here with us, Brandon Carnes here. And Mother's Day, just around the corner, this coming Sunday. So there's no better place to give your Mother's Day shout out than on live TV. You know, flowers die, chocolates get eaten. They don't last, but TV lasts. Justin, what's your Mother's Day shout out?
Happy Mother's Day to Carol, my mother, and happy Mother's Day to Kimberly, the mother of our 4 children.
All right, Becca, you're next.
Happy Mother's Day to Holly. I love you. Thank you for being the best mom ever.
All right, I guess I'll go third. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Cheryl, to both my mothers-in-law, Missy and Tracy, and of course, the best dang dog mom in the world, my wife, Jennifer. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms that might be listening to us as well. And coming up this week, we've got our clip of the week, of course, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Get you caught up on the playoff picture that is now rolling for the OHSAA softball season. And of course, our game of the week, so much more. But make sure you're here every single Wednesday, 4 p.m. on BCSN for a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast, or go anywhere you get your audio platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, whatever it is, we're going to be there, the BCSN Nation podcast. And go follow us all over social media at BCSN Sports, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Follow us anywhere. There's a follow button. We're there at BCSN Sports, and we're going to get this thing rolling. I talked about playoff softball. I can't wait any longer. We're going to get this thing going. Division I softball is where we'll start. You'll see a graphic come up on your screen, and if you're listening, well, then just listen hard. Anthony Wayne, the 1 seed in Division I Northwest 1. You see all the matchups there. Some of those happening earlier in the week that led us up to where we are now. Is there anything up there that is this second round, first round that catches your eye, Justin?
I don't see any interference for Anthony Wayne. I just see them getting through the districts, honestly, quite handily. No discredit to any of those teams not named Anthony Wayne. It's just a matter of the superiority that Anthony Wayne brings to the field each and every time. They have one loss. I think it was 1-0 to Walsh Jesuit earlier in the season. So they're a state and nationally ranked team for a reason. They got oogles of talent going D1 colleges in 1 or 2 years, depending on juniors or seniors. But I was looking at that bracket right there. Anthony Wayne, clean.
Northwest 1, I think we're settled on. Let's slide up that Northwest 2 side of the bracket, though. There you see it. Springfield, Southview, and Ross, they get the winner of does Springfield. Ashland and Whitmer. Perrysburg, they get Sewell or Sandusky, and then BG, Northview. We'll talk about that one a little bit later, so don't get too caught up on it. Anything up there, Becca, that catches your eye?
I think it might be a dogfight, just a little bit more on this side, just because you've got Springfield and you've got Perrysburg, and Whitmer's been doing pretty great this season. So I think it might be a battle as far as this side of the bracket.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those teams happy to be on this side of the bracket. You get to avoid Anthony Wayne as long as humanly possible, but Springfield, Whitmer, right? We've seen that one play out. Whitmer got the win as a runs rule, so you know Springfield playing for that get-back game. Perrysburg, luckily, on the other side, they kind of get to roll their way and control their destiny, see who they're going to face. I think we can kind of expect Perrysburg to be there at that district final against Springfield, Whitmer, probably the guess.
Yeah, that's what I had written down here. I think Springfield, Whitmer, I think maybe with the experience level that Springfield has, not necessarily in the circle in the postseason, because we saw Matayaki do that last year. For a long tournament run. She is now at the University of Toledo. So now they got collegiate as the main pitcher for the Blue Devils. So she's going to get her experience with the bright lights, so to speak, in the sectionals district championship potentially. So I'd give a slight edge to Springfield over Whitmer. But I think Perrysburg is the team to beat in this bracket.
All right, let's slide it to the D2 Northwest 1 side. You see that up on your screen now. Central Catholic and Rogers, winner of that goes to Eastwood. Got Otsego, Wauseon, and then down at the bottom, Maumee. They're the 1 seed in this district. So a great season for the Panthers moving forward, and I think a pretty good road to potentially match up with Eastwood, who is the 2 seed in that district final.
Yeah, and this one I see a lot of parity. We talked about this during the basketball season with the NWAL and the NBC going head-to-head in the districts and then trying to advance and who's the best of those smaller rural school conferences. You got that right here with Otsego and Eastwood and Wauseon. I think any 3 of those teams could advance to the district championship if Maumee takes care of business. I think they should. But this one, of all the three that we've talked about thus far, I think this one is the most up in the air. I'm not really sure. There's no definite team that I see. Okay, no questions asked. They'll be in the district finals.
It's pretty even keel on that side.
All right, so question for you, Becca. You've played in these scenarios. What's different with softball in this, right? When we get to these playoffs, is you're playing playoff games maybe on a Monday, and then that Tuesday, that Thursday, you might still have a regular season game to play. How do you balance that as an athlete where potentially you win that playoff game and you're really high, but I got a regular season game before we go to our next playoff round? That's super different from other OHSA sports.
Yeah, it's a little different, but I'd say the approach is the same because you're always going to approach a game and play your best no matter what. So I'd just say continue with the high if you're doing really successful in the regional games and all that, but just the approach is the same. Try not to think about anything. Keep it even keel.
All right, make sure you are tuned right here to BCSN for all those playoff games. We'll keep you updated on all the action going on, whether that's here or whether that's over on Sports Nightly. We got plenty of it coming for you. What we're going to do right now, just like we've done every single week in 2024, you've come to expect it, all right? We're going to catch you up on the top 20 athletes, male or female, from the last 20 years here at BCSN. And this week, we're going over to Whitmer again. Nigel Hayes Davis, an absolute star on the basketball field, also a letter winner in football. An ESPN top 100 recruit in his time as a Panther, left as the all-time leader in blocks with over 1,300 career points as well. State runner-up season his junior year, that 24-3 year. Led himself to Wisconsin and had a heck of a career as a Badger. Played in over 150 career games up there and left as the only Badger to ever appear on their top 10 list for points, rebounds, and assists. Now he's playing professional. He's had some time with the Knicks in their summer league. He's signed different contracts with the Lakers, Raptors, and Kings in the NBA. And then spent a lot of time now, like I said, in the Euro League where, he's just the first person to ever drop a 50 bomb in a Euro League game earlier this season for Fenerbahce. Absolutely couldn't have this list without Nigel Hayes Davis.
Yeah, he is extremely deserving. He was Mr. Everything at Whitmer, played football as well, and was just dominant on the basketball court. Such a leader. Did it all. He wasn't I'm going to go drop 30 and then have 2 assists. He was the guy who got rebounds, who got assists, who could drop in a bucket when his team needed it. I think you see Bruce Smith in the background right there yep, there he is.
Yes,
he
sir.
is the head coach for Whitmer during Nigel's time with the Panthers. And not only did he help lead the Panthers to the Final Four in Ohio, then he went to Wisconsin, was a part of not 1, but 2 NCAA men's basketball tournament Final Four trips. They had some fantastic teams, and Nigel was a very key player on those teams. You mentioned his NBA accolades in getting there. The NBA, I think, might be the most difficult professional league to break into just because of the smaller roster sizes and the fact that you can have a pretty long career in the NBA if you're a well-established player. So it's hard to break in, and Nigel got a taste of that and came to realize that is elite. And he's elite in Northwest Ohio and BCSN's tenured history here, but he's doing quite well for himself overseas.
Yeah, I think if you give Nigel a category of elite, it's got to be charisma. I think everybody remembers the press conference after in the NCAA tournament where his classic, that reporter's really pretty. Oh, you can hear me, covers his face. He took the world by storm. That's always been Nigel. He's been walking charisma. He would walk the halls at Whitmer when I was there. And you thought the guy was running for president. Everybody loves him. He's so likable, super intelligent guy. Nigel Hayes Davis, one of our top 20 male athletes of the BCSN era. Shout out to him. Keep doing great things overseas, Nigel. And we'll be right back after a quick 30-second spot from our sponsor, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one free. Boneless Thursdays saved me so much cash. I can finally do everything I've ever wanted in life, like skydiving. You ready? No, this was a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to go back. Go! Yeah, I'll probably just use the money I saved to get more buy one, get one free boneless wings at B-Dubs. No brainer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
You know where there's plenty of space to land from a skydiving trip? Ottawa Lake.
It's true.
Plenty of space up there, right? Open fields galore. Yellow Jackets of Perrysburg took up there last week a border battle with the Bobcats. Say that 5 times fast. Perrysburg did come away the winner, though, 7-3, the final in that one. This one, a pitching battle of 2 of the better pitchers in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, between Unity Nelson and Mason Gerard, 2 very different pitchers. If you guys have watched the way they throw, Unity Nelson's going to hit you with strikeouts galore. She has had almost 80 coming into this game alone. Mason Girard, a little different, where she's going to set you up to hit grounders, hit pop outs, right? She's going to paint the edges of the plate. And that worked out really well for Mason in this game.
Yeah, that just proves that you can still be a great pitcher and you don't have to be overpowered, right? You can, like Mason, she was able to hit like lower parts of the zones. I think she said she was working on her screw and curve. But the thing that's most important is she said in her post-game interview, she's like, well, I was adapting to the umpire.
It is in my notes. You nailed it.
So, I mean, I like to talk about this because not many people do. But when you adapt to an umpire, it's, oh, I see he's calling this in the zone. I see he's calling this. Well, I'll throw my pitch that helps set him up.
Right.
So that's what she was doing. That's why they came out so successful. Also, their defense was pretty stellar that game, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Girard, complete game. Only 4 Ks, like I said, but she really manages to set hitters up to swing at stuff that they really don't want to swing at.
Yeah, and what I like about this matchup is it's 2 perennial powers from each state. Obviously, not a conference game, but the fact that both programs wanted to schedule this game, that's what I like to see. The best in our area going head-to-head in a regular season game. It doesn't matter in the standings, doesn't necessarily dictate too much when it comes to seeding for the postseason, but it's just, hey, a good softball team versus a good softball team. Let's get better as a result, one way or another, win or lose. In Perrysburg, the victors. Jessica Miller had an RBI single. Kai Thomas had 2 RBI double. We talked about Mason Girard, 4 strikeouts in a complete game. You talked about not being overpowering. It wasn't 16 strikeouts. It was 4 strikeouts, but she still found a way to get the job done. And then Coach Ryan DeMars, I think he likes where his team is as they progress into the postseason, kind of mixing the postseason with the regular season games. But I think Perrysburg is primed and ready. They got Haley Griggs, a player that you can rely upon with a big bat coming up in a clutch situation. You'd want nobody else in there if you're Coach DeMars. But Whiteford will do some damage as well. I was talking to their now assistant coach, Chris Hubbard, last week, and she was telling me that compared to the past couple seasons when they had Allie Van Brand, who's now leading the Hoosiers of Indiana University in hitting as a freshman, she was on those Whiteford teams the last couple of years that got all the way to the state championship games. But this Whiteford team is not quite as talented on paper, but you never know once you roll things out here in the postseason. But Whiteford should have a lengthy tournament run in MHSAA play as well.
Yeah, and when you're on the fringe of those state playoff games and you get a matchup like this against a team that you know is also going to make another run, whether you're Whiteford or whether you're Perrysburg, it's a really good gauge to see kind of, all right, what do we need to fix as we get into stuff that really, really matters?
Yeah, it's nice because you get a benchmark. Right. Because that's a team that's going to go far in the postseason. And so Perrysburg, they've been doing great this season. Obviously, top to bottom, their lineup is great. They've got great defense. I'd say they got all 3 key components to make them go far in the postseason. But yeah, it's really nice when you have a team that, okay, this is what the tournament's going to be like, and then it sets you up for that.
They've been on a roll offensively. Only 7 in this one, which is saying something when you're saying only 7 runs scored, right? They scored 22 against Findlay last week, 11 against Northview, and like you said, the big thing is the maturity on this team. They have so many players that are ready to go to the next level, including, of course, Haley Griggs. So it should be a lot of fun as they start moving toward the playoff push, as you saw them up in the bracket earlier. What we're going to get into now, of course, it's our clip of the week brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. All right, our clip of the week. We just mentioned Northview a little bit. We're going to bring him back up to the screen, and this is freshman Brooklyn Reinbolt at the plate against Findlay. Ooh. Bases loaded. They are not loaded anymore. All of them coming home. A 1-1 game, bottom of the first. Heck of a way to set the tone. Grand slam in the first inning.
Ooh. That was no hesitation there. And we'll see the next pitch or rewinded, so to speak.
Oh, it'll be back.
She goes, like, she kind of goes up and gets it a little higher in the zone, but she was attacking. That's what I like. A 2-1 pitch. So you got a little bit of a hitter's count there. She knows she wants to throw a strike, not wanting to go 3-1. And she was just advantageously hitting that ball and just launching it over the Lady Cats sign.
Yeah, no doubter. You see, I love the left fielder starts to run, kind of goes, nope, never mind.
She's like, never mind.
I'm just stretching the hammies out a little bit on this jog now.
Yeah, I was just stretching it out. You could see that she keeps her hands even with the ball because with high pitches like those, it's easy to pop up as well. Mm-hmm. So she keeps her hands even with the ball and is able to line that out. That's a great job. But she also played, I recently did a broadcast for Northview versus St. Ursula. She hit 2 home runs in that game. So she's just on fire.
I was just about to bring up last week alone. I saw this up on social. She was 10 of 15, 4 homers, and that part of that 15-4 win over St. Ursula. So a heck of a week for the freshman in Brooklyn Reinbolt, and a heck of a win, 14-1 the final. So it's 1-1 here, right? She is the avalanche that really buried Finley in this one, starting with that grand slam. Shout out Brooklyn Reinbolt, our Renewal by Anderson clip of the week. You want more clips like this? I bet you can go to our TikTok and find this one. If you haven't seen enough of the grand slam yet, head over to our TikTok. It's going to be there. Get us closer to 10,000 followers. And for now, we're going to move to some milestones. A milestone as a freshman is a grand slam, sure, but a milestone of 600 career wins for Coach Brenda Rädebaugh. And I don't think I can start this anywhere else than throwing it over to Becca, who's got plenty of experience with Coach Rädebaugh.
Yeah, Coach Rädebaugh is my coach, and I'm so excited for her. If you know Coach Rädebaugh, you know she's super humble. She would not ever take it as, oh, yes, it's mine. She'd be like, no, this is because of the players. And I've talked to her about it. She's obviously just going to continue saying, oh, it's because of the players. But, you know, she puts her players on a pedestal. And I think that really helps with this because she puts them up in situations that's going to set them up for success, obviously, then therefore setting her up for success. So she's just a great coach. I think she encourages players really well, and it's well-deserved.
That goes into, she was given an honorary home plate that says a good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life, something I think us as coaches in our respective sports can certainly strive for.
Oh, 100%. And she is now one of 8 coaches in the state of Ohio history with 600 or now more wins. And I just like how they did it for her. You talk about the players. They jumped out to an early lead. And sometimes where you're a coach, you do kind of want to get that win. You don't want to sit on a win for a while. And they kind of set the tone right from the get-go. Maddie Frankie had an RBI double to get him off to that 3-0 lead there in the first inning. Jenna Schwartz had a great diving catch and then had a solo home run later in that game. So, Coach Rädebaugh and Kim Rector, a longtime assistant who's been with her, those two are kind of a two-piece in a pod and been a part of the Clay softball program since Rädebaugh got there. And both of them have led to tons of success for the Eagles. And yes, she does not enjoy the spotlight, but BCSN has really put the spotlight on her, naming her one of our top 20 plus coaches in the last 20 years during the BCSN network era. And very deserving of that, very deserving of appropriate coverage for 600 victories here in Northwest Ohio. Prior to her time at Clay, she was a stellar and great coach at Central Catholic as well. So very, very deserving Coach Rädebaugh.
Yeah, 447 of those wins have come in her time at Clay. So yeah, we can't give enough flowers to Coach Rädebaugh for 600 career wins. Like you said, 8th only ever in the history to do that as a coach. There's another athlete now chasing records in Northwest Ohio. We're going to slide a little bit out of the BCSN era over to Evergreen. 𝗦𝗫cy Chamberlain is on pace and looking for the Ohio high school all-time home run records for a career. She's at 57 as we're recording this. This is before the Monday game, so we'll see. Hopefully she jacks out 3 in that game and we can give her the record, right? 57 career homers. The record is 60. Oh, by the way, she also just set her single season school record of 26 walks in a season. That was hers to break at 25 from before. This girl is an absolute star on the diamond. She's a Penn State commit. Her career batting average is just under 700.
Yeah, that's unheard of. And I've seen her. I've been lucky enough to see her grow up and play. She played with my younger sister on the travel leagues. So it's really cool. I think I just pray for her because I know that she's going to get intentionally walked. I mean, that's why she's got so many walks. It's because people don't want to throw to her anymore because it's just home run after home run. So I'm excited to see. Hopefully she does break this record.
Yeah, 25 of her first 60 plate appearances, you just talked about it, were walks. You don't want to face 𝗦𝗫cy Chamberlain when she steps up to the plate.
She is, last check, according to Max Prep's stats that they keep, the leading batting average in the state of Ohio, regardless of division. So she has just been fun to watch. And if you look, just like Google some of the videos, any YouTube clips or like recruiting profile videos, she's already committed to Penn State. But I saw some of her videos and just single one-on-one work. She's a catcher. I can play a variety of positions, but I saw her catcher work and just exquisite fundamentals. Her mechanics are excellent. Does everything correctly, precisely, with great detail, and that's how you become a Division I recruit, is the attention to detail, time in and time out. And looking at her games this week, They played on Monday. They play at Northwood on Tuesday in the sectional semifinals. On Thursday, they would play Blissfield. Friday against Oak Harbor if they would win their sectional game. And Saturday, doubleheader against Ayersville. So opportunities, if you want to see her play before she's done being in a Viking uniform at Evergreen, I'd encourage you to go out and listen. If any of the listeners out there or watchers out there have younger daughters who are aspiring to be high school athletes or Division I college athletes, do yourself and your kid a favor, take them to go see her play. Yeah. Even if it's just plate discipline and you watch an intentional walk or you watch them pitch around her, kind of just watch how she would take the game seriously no matter what. Hats off to her. She's been a great representative of Northwest Ohio softball. And I wish we get to see her go on a postseason run.
And any of our Viking family listeners that are out there, if you get that 60th homer on video, make sure you shoot it over to us at BCSN Sports so we can spread the love and show that OHSAA record getting snapped. You know, green and white, it's a pretty good color combo. We're going to keep with it for the next topic. We're going to talk about the Start Spartans. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. They're the class of the City League, and they have been for a few years. They're on their way to their 6th City League title, unbeaten in City League play right now. And that's hard to do as a culture. That's hard to do as a team. How do you move through a season knowing like this is on our shoulders and we got to really carry this mantle that's been set for us?
Yeah, I believe that if you've done it multiple years in a row, you get used to the success. And that's not just, winning the City League is the benchmark. You know what I mean? So when I've talked to Dominic Rinaldi, who's the head coach over there in the past, he said, the City League, it's great that we dominate it every year, but that's not our goal anymore. Our goal is to go further in the postseason, to grow together as a team. And I think that he's doing a really great job of that over the years.
Yeah, and as you build a program and you start to win league titles, as Becca just mentioned, you want more, you need to strive for more, set that bar higher and higher.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how they've been taking selfies, team selfies after each victory. Yes, they've done what they've needed to do in the City League and done it in, like you said, dominating fashion. If I'm Start, I would have 3 goals remaining as of right now as we approach the postseason and the final stages of the regular season. I'd say finish up winning the City League, beat Notre Dame Academy in the tournament, and then at the end of the season, beat Clay in a regular season game because they are up against likely Anthony Wayne in the district semifinals. If Start can beat Notre Dame, they would likely face Anthony Wayne. Those teams already have played before, and Anthony Wayne won 19-1. So just looking at the optics, it's not looking good for them to advance beyond past Anthony Wayne, but beyond the wins that they've gotten in the City League, the losses this year came to Clyde, Fremont Ross, Northview, Whitmer, Findlay, and Anthony Wayne. So some NLL schools in there who have more developed programs in softball as compared to Start. But I really appreciate what Coach Rinaldi has done, and a lot of the players have embraced each other this season and will add another 6th City League title in a row, which is nothing to sneeze at. So congrats to them and all the Spartans there. But still plenty of objectives that I think could be meaningful goals and aspirations for them to have here in the remainder of 2024.
Yeah, don't get complacent. Finish that City League title. Stay unbeaten in the City League, and then keep that momentum rolling as you take on Clay, as you take on potentially Anthony Wayne after that first playoff matchup. They've also got 8 players hitting over 400, so they're not like, a lower division. They're not playing great games, just beating bad teams. They're hitting the ball well. They're playing well. We'll see them in the playoffs, and hopefully they get their best swing at Anthony Wayne, see what happens, right? But what we're going to do now, we're talking about that game. That's going to be great. We're going to go to our game of the week, brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. All right, a pair of teams we've already talked a little bit about as we've gone through the show. We talked about BG in former game of the weeks, but Northview at Bowling Green, a playoff matchup. We are ready for it. Northview, we talked about Brooklyn Reinbolt having a heck of a season, a heck of a week going into this. And of course, Sammy Trimpe, Zoe Zeems at Bowling Green. They're ready to roll into playoff action.
Yeah, Northview's been doing a really great job. I know I've spoke to Coach 𝗵𝗵𝗃 previously. I know I just did a game with them, but he was telling me about how it's been really interesting for his team. It's been like hot and cold. Sometimes they'll run rule somebody. Sometimes they'll end up not winning, not doing so great. But lately, the bats have been hot.
Yeah.
Reinbolt, I just did a game with St. Ursula, like I've said, but she hit 2 home runs in the same inning, bottom of the inning. It was great. Oof. She almost hit 3. So it's been hot. And she wasn't the only one that hit a home run as well. Caitlin Eckel hit a home run that game, and Sophia Delaziguar. So they did a great job. I just hope that they continue with that moving forward.
It's a rematch. BG looking for some comebacks right back on, I think it was
April
the
18th.
Yeah, the 18th. They beat BG. Northview did 11-6. So you get your comebacks and get it in playoff fashion. Not bad.
Yeah, 11-6. So it's not a 19-1 or anything like that. So I think you could still kind of give this game a little bit of a toss-up record-wise. Northview 11-11 entering this week. Bowling Green 11-8 entering this week. So right there again, kind of a toss-up because these teams are in different divisions in the Northern Lakes League, but still play each other's opponents very often. So there's a lot of commonalities between these two teams. But the winner of this one will likely get Perrysburg in the district semifinals. But I looked at Sammy Trimpe in this one for Bowling Green, a likely first-team All-Cardinal Division player, a potential player of the year on that side of the NLL. And I think both of these teams, with their head coaches, Cassie Nauman and Nick Čippetta, in the sense of, okay, this is a good barometer game in the postseason where I think if you win this game, you're like, yes, we took a step forward. And then if you lose this game, you're like, man, I thought we should have done that. We should have won that game. And both sides, I think, can evenly say that simple sentence. Yeah. So that's the nature of sports. That's the nature of playoff softball, where one team advances, the other one is done for the tournament.
For the Bobcats, like I talked about, you want to get that revenge. They also have a little bit of momentum. They beat Springfield last week on a walk-off, so you carry that into the playoffs. That's a heck of a time to beat the best team probably in the Cardinal Division.
Yeah, talk about some momentum. I mean, that's a confidence booster. You're going to move on in the tournament and be like, well, I've beaten Springfield, so that's okay if I play Perrysburg. I can play at that caliber. You know what I mean? So I think it's great. They should work on it. Continue with that momentum, help that better their game against Northview, because I know that they're also doing a really great job coming into this tournament.
All right, make sure you head over to BCSN, the BCSN app, 5 p.m. tonight on the BCSN app. Northview at Bowling Green, OHSAA playoff action. And you know what? I can't think of anything that goes better with chicken wings than playoff softball. We'll listen to beat-ups for about 30 seconds. We'll come back with a little bit more.
I've saved so much money enjoying Buffalo Wild Wings BOGO half-off traditional wing Tuesdays. I can finally afford everything I've ever wanted in life. Wings. All I ever wanted was more wings. So yeah, buy one, get one half-off traditional wings is the perfect deal for me and my lifetime yearnings. I value it more than literally anything. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
All right, you want an excuse for more wings? Pull up that upcoming games graphic, and I'll give you a reason to go get them on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Softball, we just mentioned it, right? Our game of the week, Northview at Bowling Green. We've also got high school baseball, Rossford and Maumee. And, of course, ECHL Division Finals. The Walleye hit the road against the Wheeling Nailers. They don't need more wins. They're just getting more wins, 20 in a row for the Fish. And plenty else going on. The Hens are back in town. They'll take on the St. Paul Saints. Plenty of stuff going on this week on BCSN.
I love it. When that graphic is full, that's a good thing. Programming is alive and well at BCSN. High school, hockey, baseball, everything. We love it. Lots of good juicy matchups there. We're hoping, cross our fingers.
Rain, go away.
Yes, exactly. For some of our baseball and softball games. We got boys lacrosse as well. We're entering postseason time for them as well. But lots to do and lots to watch. You could head down to Fifth Third Field, watch the Mud Hens, and you got playoff hockey on here. All kinds of stuff.
We are busy, and it's plenty of reasons. Like I said, go get beat-ups, go get wings. You see that Ottawa Hills boys lacrosse game. Reese Hill, we talked about him last week. He's chasing the OHSAA career record for goals in lacrosse. So goals to be met, records to be broken, games to watch, of course, over here on BCSN. And then, of course, I can't not just keep talking about the Fish. They're on a roll, 20 wins in a row, including the playoffs, ECHL record. Plenty of reasons to go with our crew, go hang out in Wheeling if you need to, but at least pull the game up on BCSN and watch it.
Yeah, the avid Fish followers will be there. We saw plenty of them in Kalamazoo in the last series, so you'll definitely see some Walleye fans in Wheeling. But yes, we'll have all of those games live on BCSN. We got our crew assigned. You'll see Matt Melzak leading the crew down there with the play-by-play, and then we got all kinds of production crew staff members there, manning the cameras, directors, operators, audio, replay. We got you all covered here during playoff hockey time.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but we'll get you covered right here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. as well for another episode of the BCSN Nation podcast, presented to you, of course, by Buffalo Wild Wings. Make sure you get us anywhere you listen to your podcast as well. Follow at Justin Feldkamp, at Yenrik R, at Carnes Brandon, and follow at BCSN Sports. See ya.